I'm not a hero, but I'm gonna pretend to be one for a moment. I'm gonna go where no man has gone before. What is the worst anime ever made? I intend to answer this with empirical scientific data collected through my painstaking research into the subject. As many of you know, I've spent the better part of 27 years building up my tolerance to dog shit through exposure therapy. I've watched, I've played, and experienced the worst that any entertainment medium has to offer. So there's no curveballs anime can toss at me that I can't handle. So I'm absolutely the correct fit for the job here, and I know we will once and for all be able to determine what is the objective worst anime ever created. Much like Indiana Jones, I've been consumed with the idea of discovery. I want to find and watch the worst anime ever made, like the objective biggest pile of dog shit ever for anime. And what better place to start than rank 12,638 on my anime list. This is the lowest rating on the entire site. Everything below this is unrated, so it either never came out or just doesn't exist. So the lowest one here is Tinku Danzai Skelter plus Heaven. So the mission is pretty simple, and there's a very clear starting point here for my noble crusade. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and I'm not a pussy, so I'm gonna take that first step no problem. So let's go ahead and dive into the lowest ranked anime on the site. Tinku Danzai Skelter plus Heaven equals garbage, I suppose. Well, this was a lot worse than I expected it to be. I'm pretty sure this was made by someone who escaped a lobotomy mid-operation. So you start this piece of shit by slowly zooming in on this marble that's supposed to be the Earth while a heartbeat sound goes on for like a minute. It overstays its welcome almost immediately, and it's the longest shot in the entire movie. This is 20 minutes of pure agony. But it's not all bad though, at least they translated it to English using Babelfish. Skelter plus Heaven. Her fate which does not get used to by nature, machines was left to your hand. The human body arms which had the program embedded so that a command may be obeyed from when born. That's Socrates level wisdom right there. This sounds like a poor translation from some random person in the YouTube comments, but it's actually what they used in the movie.
警戒態勢だぞ。聞いてないのか。
でかいな。300メートルくらいか。
Luckily, the plot's super easy. There's a squid here, and we want to kill it. That's about it. Everything else that happens is pretty nonsensical, but that's the core idea. So the guy you just saw walking in is like a team leader who puts together a squad of waifus in order to fight this squid. And the squid's not really doing anything. It just kind of looks like a 3D asset for a tentacool. It's just like this weird, goofy, like vanilla ice cream cone squid thing that just floats around and doesn't actually participate or fight back at all, really. Best rated anime of all time according to my anime list. And I'm actually rather optimistic for this one. I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm looking for the worst anime, like by traditional definition, you know, an animated production. That's what I'm looking for, the worst in that category. So that's why we've gone all the way to Abanai Sisters, because everything before it doesn't exactly fit that definition. Probably one of the best intros in all of anime. I'd say this is up here with Tokyo Ghoul's Unravel and Attack on Titan's Rumbling. Like, this is just so good. The song's just an absolute banger, and ever since I finished episode 1, I've just been singing it to myself because it slaps so hard. Now, you can immediately maybe draw a comparison to the two characters here in Comedy Central's Celebrity Deathmatch, if any of you remember that. It looks like they took the Celebrity Deathmatch characters, and instead of them being made out of clay, they animated it, and they still somehow look like they're made out of clay, but wrapped in plastic.
Oh, the beach is all set up for us. We haven't had a vacation in so long. Let's go swimming. Check out my sexy swimsuit. A swimsuit? I could never wear one of those. A celebrity should be swimming in her birthday suit.
They're really coming out of the gates hot. They must have spent a lot of time modeling these asses because they're pretty detailed. If you look on the left there, her dress is so tight that they decided to model a butthole there. There's an actual sign of asshole through the dress, which is impressive. Classic motorboat jutsu. This is really the entire show. It never really changes much, gets any better, or gets any worse. It's the entire show, just like this. Now I bet you're just squirming in your seat, desperate to know how it all ends. The series finale, how does Abunai Sisters wrap up? Well, in the final episode, after numerous failed attempts throughout the season, they do finally come up with a plan that ends in success. They get their hands on the booby stone, but only for a brief time, because unfortunately for them, Mika and Coco are equipped to handle any type of Abunai situation.
We've got no choice. You mean we can use that? Yes. Eat this! Our ultimate weapon! The nipple bullets! Oh my gosh! Those nipples were fake?
It shocks me that this hasn't been renewed for a second season or a reboot or something. A great show all around. This is actually a show that wasn't nearly as bad as the other two we've seen before. I definitely still think Skelter Heaven and Mars of Destruction is significantly worse than the Abunai Sisters, because at least this is moderately entertaining, and its purpose is clearly to get people to jerk off to it in some level, just being like soft-core porn, kinda. And I'm sure it succeeded in that ballpark, absolutely. So it's definitely not the worst anime, and I don't think it's even gonna come close. But an interesting adventure nonetheless. That's about it. See ya.